And we are here. Quasar Markets, welcome to a brand new week. We're coming up into a brand new quarter. Quarter one of 2026 is almost finished. April 1st is here. Easter is coming around the corner. Good Friday. Markets are closed. And this will be a fascinating week ahead. Really interesting to see how the markets are performing right now. Everything is up presently. Tech is up. And oil's up, which is really unique.
And the VIX is up.
And the VIX.
Tech, oil, VIX, like everything's up, right?
That's right. Yep.
Uh-oh.
Yep.
Uh-oh.
So the volatility index closed above 30 for the first time in quite a while on Friday. It's going to be really cool to see how that kind of shapes up and how it pulls off. But in general, with gold and silver and everything kind of moving higher, it's been brief. I do think personally this is what's called a relief rally in just the broader markets, but it does come down and it does spill over into an interaction with everything that's obviously going on. If with Trump saying if the strait does not immediately open, he will blow up all the Iranian electric generating plants, oil wells, and the island. I mean, this was, he posted that recently.
Right.
Literally said that verbatim almost. So that increased the oil prices across the board. It's probably going to continue to do that. And I think right now, what I've been telling everyone, Dave, is unless someone else says that the war is over, I mean, let's call it JD Vance, let's call it Pete, let's call it someone else other than Trump. If Trump says it's over, war is over, it's finished, we're at peace, I'm not going to believe it. I think it's just market manipulation. I think it's just statements. I don't think it's going to be accurate because we've already had two of those. And both of those had ended up failing and the markets ended up trading lower. So I kind of believe that I'm going to wait for someone else to kind of authorize that statement. Even if it's Iran or whoever else it is, it's got to be someone else.
100%. Like I have my notes going back 3 weeks on this, and I keep reading what I said like 3 weeks ago, and I'm like, I'm trying very hard not to say I told you so. In a sense that even if Trump declared victory and said, okay, we've killed we started this with unconditional surrender. Okay, that wasn't a thing. Regime change. Okay, that's clearly not happening. Ending the Iran nuclear program. I'm like, okay, you said that last year, and I thought that was done then, with the 12-day thing. Then we're going to destroy Iranians' industrial, military, Air Force, and Navy capacity. It's like, okay. And then it's like, okay, we're going to end Iran's missile program. Well, that's not happening. Like they're still doing that. Mm-hmm. So like our scorecard is 1, maybe 2 out of 5, right? Mm-hmm. Israel is like, end the nuclear program. That's same question mark. I guess that was done, but is it? End the missile program. That's not happening. And then complete state destruction. And so they're 0 or 1 out of 3. Whereas, look, Iran has been really clear. It's like, we're going to maintain the regime. We're going to end the U.S.-Israeli attacks. That's not happening. We're going to receive reparations. That hasn't happened yet. We're going to maintain our nuclear program. Well, maybe. I don't know. I would do it. I personally want a nuclear bomb at this point. They want to maintain the missile program. Well, it's happening. They want to establish control over Hormuz. They've done that. They want to expel the U.S. from the Middle East. That is kind of happening. And they want to remove sanctions. That has happened too. They are making more money than they have in years. So who's winning? Until Iran says we're done, I'm not going to pay any attention to JD Vance. I'm not going to pay any attention to Bibi Netanyahu because they are not in control. So
gotcha. So you're saying it needs to come from Iran specifically. That's the only
Iran's got to say, hey, we're done. We're good. Thanks for playing. So I don't care what Trump says. I don't care what Bibi says because they're going to keep on keeping on until they don't. I have to see a fundamental change in the posture of Iran in some form or fashion. And man, this does not get worse by adding more American young men and young women to this. Gives me chills.
Fair. Yeah. Fair. I get it. I think it makes perfect sense. And looking at it from a technical perspective, I'm going to hop on, Quasar Markets Live tomorrow with Steven, and we'll probably end up doing some screen shares and just looking at some general charts. But from a technical perspective, just looking at the levels and the
Yeah.
moving averages and some of these things, I can see the picture being painted very clearly for one more news cycle of positivity
Yep.
that's this inaccurate. I was trying to come up with a better word. and and then we have one more letdown ahead of us. And then there's some resolutions to take place. I think the markets kind of find their bottom in mid to early April. So during there are two times, Dave, where the markets have had a massive drop under Trump's administration, and both of them were global. They both had different circumstances that underlined everything, but they both were very fast and very scary and very terrifying and panic stricken. You had COVID, March of 2020, and you had tariffs,
Okay.
March of 2025.
God.
So here we are. We are in March, right? We're still in March, FYI, March 30th. And
Damn it, March.
right. So to let people know, it's like I told everyone, like, we're going to have another one, and we're having it. You're going to history doesn't repeat itself perfectly, but it very often rhymes, is a quote from the markets. And I mean, to think about a crazy, insane, wild market drop that is globally caused, that is, with Trump being at the helm of the ship twice in March,
Yep.
is like, hello, this is the third time.
Like, here's your problem. Look at it in March. Yeah.
So we can almost go back in time and go, all right, when did the last ones, quote unquote, shake out or resolve or start actually finding their bottom? And the cool part is, I can tell you, the last one, which was COVID, it was March 24th, but that's when the markets were down 35%. We haven't even gotten close to that, but you have March 24th was the absolute bottom. And then really April 6th was kind of like okay, I'm pretty sure we're going to go higher now. So it didn't happen until April. The tariff situation was, give me 3 seconds, I believe April 6th, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Yeah, April 9th was the actual bottom of that. And that was a total market drop of 20%. So you had 35% in COVID, you had 20% in tariffs. Right now, we're only looking at 9. So I think maybe double digits would be ideal. To give everyone an example, right now the SPY, the SPY, is at the lowest it got to on Friday was about 633. Right now we're up to 639 in the pre-market. I do personally think that the SPY, which is the S&P 500 ETF, trades back up into the highest that we see this week is 650. And then we have one more push down into probably 610 to 603 is the absolute bottom. And then we start seeing a little bit of shakeout, and that's about 12 to 13%. So still big drops, quote unquote, big corrections, but that needs to happen in markets. And it is a cyclical thing. We have the 250-year celebration of America that's coming up in July, and Trump's going to make a big hoorah about that. So he's going to push for everything to be kind of like square before that day. We'll see if that actually happens or not, but that's just kind of my general thoughts and general perspective from a timing thing.
Okay, there's a little bit there to unpack. And for our new listeners and our current listeners who are coming over, I think, what if we are in February 2020? And I mean, I'm feeling like a little like when a handful of Cassandras were out there and they were being ignored. There was this huge cacophony of experts out there be like, it's no big deal. It'll be fine. It's just a little Chinese flu. Well, we have another virus out there now. It's an oil virus. It's already in Asia. Like they're already like in massive constraints in Japan, in Philippines, in Bangladesh, and a number of places where there is demand destruction. There is austerity going in as far as oil goes. fertilizers, feeders for plastics, like there's already the virus, the oil virus is already in Asia. It's starting to spread to Europe right now, like Belgium saying, hey, start conserving. Italy out and out came out and said, hey, this is no bueno or no bene. It's heading towards the United States right now. There's this air pocket of 20% of oil being offline, as the current stuff is hitting and nothing is following it up. And now the Straits, the Houthis are like, hey, we're in this now too. That's the other side of the oil equation. So ask yourself this: if it is February 2020, would, knowing what you know today and what happened in what happened in March 2020, would you have done anything differently if you know now what you didn't know or what you were thinking about in February of 2020? I feel like we're there now and for 2026, and it feels like the market is and the market is over hopium, over like it'll be fine, it'll be perfectly good, but like infrastructure has been taken off, and like oil's going to be high for a while. This is not going to be January. Like our state of the state has changed, right? Like it's not going to be January of this year and be like everything's fine again. If Epic Fury is a massive success and all the oil comes back on, it's not going to all come back on. It's going to take years in some cases for some of these things. And so help me and help our listeners, help our new listeners. Like, what should I be? I see how this gets worse. I don't see how it gets better. Like the logic, the math isn't mathing for me. That's
yeah. Well, in the short term, what you just said was if it's February of 2020, then that means the markets have lower to go. What's really remarkable to me is if we have and I agree with you that the markets have one more good push lower, by the way. I wouldn't say and maybe we're in February of 2020, but we're probably early March of 20. I mean, it's close. It's very, very similar time frames. It's very similar market conditions of, again, global constraints, supply chain, just being caused by something different. Yeah. I like how you said an oil virus. I mean, that's a really, really captivating term. And I think it's quite spectacular, truthfully. But ultimately, in trading, the way I see it, ultimate goal is to capture and create cash flow, to bring in more income for you and a family, because you're going to need it, because inflation is happening in front of your face right now. Because if oil, as it is going higher parabolically, and Chevron, ExxonMobil, XLE at all-time highest prices they've ever been in human history, the share price, as oil goes up, the cost of every good on earth increases exponentially. So even if it's not inflation caused by Federal Reserve, of that nature, it's just strictly supply and demand constraints that are going to cause it. Because if oil goes up, the prices of everything goes higher, including your gas, your groceries, your car bill, everything. That's happening right now. So if markets drop, let's make some money on the downside.
Yeah.
And then when they do get lower, I do absolutely think back to the oil constraint of, okay, if this is an oil virus, then we need some type of vaccine. The vaccine would be Russia, Ukraine, and ends.
Right.
That poker chip gets moved to a different table. Russia comes online, says, hey, here's a bunch of oil world. That kind of forces the Iran chip to come into play. Iran says, okay, all right, you know what? If Russia says yes, we'll say yes. And then we have super cheap oil all of a sudden headed into end of April, early May.
Yeah.
Oil prices drop precipitously, which is the first time I've ever used that word correctly in a sentence. And
Me too.
And then gold starts going down a little bit. The tech market kind of starts to rebound because tech and energy generally are inversely correlated. So if energy goes down, tech is going up. If tech goes up, energy goes down. And then you play that move and you create some cash flow for your family. I mean, I think that that's what's happening. And I think that is within the next 6 weeks, that episode is going to play out almost perfectly. So let's make some money on the downside, create
Yeah.
some more cash, because how much cash can someone create right now? And the answer is, well, it depends. The math formula. It depends on how much risk you're willing to take, but the answer is a lot. And you can easily take some positions to shift market downside protection, have some market downside exposure, and then be ready for the upside as well.
Oof. Okay, so gas buddy, my gas buddy.
Oh, that's the app,
Says,
right? That's not your best friend.
right. Gas nationwide is $3.92 a gallon. It is over $4 here in, I think it was $4.60 I saw in the glorious state of Florida. Diesel, I'm looking for a chart on that, but it's like up 40%. Now everything moves by diesel, right? Like every train, every truck, every delivery vehicle, every boat, everything runs on diesel. That's up like a bajillion, percent. And that flows into everything. I was walking around the store yesterday and I felt like that old man. I'm like, eggs are over $1 a piece. Like it was crazy walking around and walking out of a store with one bag being $60. And it's not like it was full of meat and cheese and caviar. It was like staples. And it wasn't a high-end store. It was a Publix. It wasn't a Whole Foods. And I'm like, man, people today is different. I think more people are paycheck to paycheck. More people are in debt. More people are
yes.
Right? I mean, it's just different today than it was other recessions. And maybe I should start drinking again.
Well, that would help.
So I don't mean to be Debbie doom and gloom. And I love how you're saying it's like, there's opportunities here. There's money to be made. And certainly, the people who are listening to this today, the markets are just open now. And so people will be, listening to this just in a couple of hours. Like markets don't like chaos, but traders can be okay in that place. Right. So what's your vibe this week is what? What's like today, this week? You say it's in for one more cycle of jawboning by the administration, is what I'm hearing.
Yeah, one more cycle, one more lower low in the just the broader markets, let's call it, and then generally, I feel like we go a little bit higher
Okay.
after that happens. But to your point, the doom and gloom is there are always fear cycles that happen in markets, and you use the word perfectly, right? You have traders and you have investors. For traders, which is most of Quasar, right? Most of our listeners, just because of kind of my background, they are all excited because it just presents incredible opportunity, right? Up, down, sideways, who cares? If you know trends, if you know markets, you know the right buttons, you can create some income for you and your family, however much that might be. And regarding just where we are, I mean, you're getting some really, really, really beautiful discounts on some companies that I don't personally feel like are impacted generally at all by the overarching value of oil going higher, because they're not oil companies or software companies. Now, then you can take the AI play where it's like, oh, but AI can build a Meta. I mean, because Meta is just getting absolutely smoked. Meta being Facebook, So Meta is down gargantuan. I mean, it went from essentially $800 a share to $500 a share. So it's down 33% since September.
Wow.
And you're like, oh, it's because AI can build its own Meta. It's like, sure, it probably could. Will it? I mean, it hasn't yet. And will people use it? And will it be good? And will they advertise on it? And will the advertising work? Those are all things that are left to be unsaid. But that's the news cycle right now. And again, I just think that's the news cycle that everyone's kind of, man, I was thinking about AI the other day, dude. I'm like, I think as scary and as real as it is, I also think it's a flying car situation. Meaning everyone's like, oh, we're going to have flying cars in 5 years in the 80s.
Yeah.
And the 90s.
Back in my day. Yeah.
And the 2000s.
Yeah.
And it's like, bro, we still ain't got flying cars. We still don't have hoverboards. There's all kinds of technology that we don't really have in the US that everyone thought was a guarantee.
Right.
For sure, we're going to have this in the world.
Hmm.
I kind of think AI is like that, man. Like, yeah, it's going to be cool for a bit, and there's going to be some really, really fun things. But like, I think the 5 year, everyone's going to have robots in their house cooking your eggs for you and tucking in your kids to sleep, and then you're just going to have this machine that's on your computer that just trades the market for you and just spits out money, and then everyone's on this big universal basic income where robots are trading the markets and we don't have to do anything for income. That's 5 years away, is an absolute joke. I don't think that
Mm.
that is even remotely the case. I think that's like 50 years away. And I think in 5 years, we're going to have some okay videos that are created by AI on Netflix that people pay $9 to watch.
Yeah.
And things become a little bit faster and a little bit more optimized. And then the world resumes to totally normal. That's just kind of my take.
Yeah.
And there's companies that use it and it's more effective and more efficient. And yes, people definitely lose jobs over it, but ultimately it's like some, 10% of jobs get displaced in the next 5 years. And the ones that use AI just become more efficient and more effective and become more profitable. And then we have a really, really big market resurgence because everyone's profitable. And they're like, man, dude, we're kind of killing it thanks to AI. And
Yeah.
we do really well. And then we get into that actual bubble that everyone's kind of terrified or freaking out about.
Yeah, I
So,
could buy into that. Yeah, I'm feeling a little more doomy gloomy on that. And that it's a big displacement that American workers are being asked to sort of shoulder their own burden, and it's an opportunity for industry and academia and government and individuals to come together. And this is our plug, which is like the 2030 workforce discussion is happening
yep.
right now. Our brand new episode with Spencer Conley is launching. We'll have a bunch of discussions on the future of working in America. So find us on Solving America's Problems on your favorite podcasting platform and at the link below. And you can hear a little bit more in depth on that.
It's a real thing, man, that we
Yeah.
need to talk about. I mean,
Yeah.
that's some people might go, why the heck are you guys talking about that on a Solving America's Problems thing? It's like, listen, as a, if you're in America, and if it's okay if you're not, I know this is a global audience, but I mean, this is going to impact your country too,
Hmm.
is the real understanding of most jobs could be gone.
Right.
And we have the ability to share this openly because the fourth, industrial revolution is here. The revolution of the agrarian age changed so quickly. Cotton gin and all the different machines that
Hmm.
started coming out and just started producing faster and faster and faster and more efficient machines that no one farms now, right? Far less than 1% of the world is actually in the agriculture, farming, planting, growing, harvesting, and reaping industry,
Right.
right? Far less than 1%. I'd probably say 0.01% of this earth is doing that and making all the food. All right. Well, that was 99% 100 years ago. So now in every single nation, robots and AI, it's here. How is it going to change the country? And how is it going to change the populace? And who's going to have jobs? And what are they going to be doing? And then how is the government going to help those who do get displaced quickly, who might not be as apt to moving as fast? And especially the older population, right? Let's call them 60 plus. How are they going to be impacted? How's the government going to make sure that they're watched over, that they're governed well,
Yep.
and that they have those are real solutions, real problems that are happening as we speak. So to just be aware of that, I think that's why we are addressing and focusing on that and just kind of coming up with some of those solutions now to be thinking ahead in the next 5 years of like what that looks like. Because it's only, yes, it will be faster. And yes, again, I do kind of think that it's a flying car situation, but
Hmm.
ultimately for absolute certainty, there will be some very fun and monumental shifts that happen in just the workforce in every single major country, developing country.
I had a terrifying thought yesterday. Well, I have a lot of them every now and then, but I promise folks, I'm crazy in a good way. But I was like, man, I can't wait for my Optimus robot. I can't wait to have my robot doing doing my chores and doing my things, doing my whatever, right? Like I've been dreaming about this since the 80s, right? And then it occurred to me, I don't know if I want something that can walk around in my house that might be really super strong and like has its own mind and could hover over me in the middle of the night and choke me out. Like this, like,
Mm-hmm.
like having the killer robot inside my house. It's not a Roomba. It's
Yep. Yeah.
you
Yeah.
know,
It's
like
a thing. It's a walking thing with legs
inside
and
your
arms.
house. I mean, like that's
Hmm.
terrifying to me. It's like, does it have a master kill switch or is it connected to the internet? Like like a lot of things in my house are connected to the internet, but I have absolute control over it. Like I don't know if I'd have absolute control over like a robot in my house. It's like, oh God, you're like how are you going to guarantee that this thing isn't like hacked by nefarious folks and
Hmm.
recording stuff? Like my Alexa, I think is pretty creepy, but it's
These are real thoughts to have, man. We need the people in this world that are also at least
so that
having
was
those
my
like,
crazy observation. Yeah, don't know
is
if I
this
want
good
that
for
now.
me?
It's like, I don't know. Am I locking it up at night? Is it going in the closet or is it walking around and hovering over me? It's like, are you sleeping? I'm like,
Yeah. Yeah. And I think that that's, again, a real issue, but that's probably, my opinion, is probably like 20, 30 years away. I think for the
I could hear
next,
that. Yeah.
yeah, 5 to 10 years, they're just going to be stupid. It's essentially cars, right? Like
Right.
cars driving themselves was a big dream. Obviously,
Yeah.
cars flying was,
Yeah.
everyone's like, for sure that's going to happen. But before that happened, we're having cars drive themselves. But
Yeah.
that took an act of, well, Elon Musk to pull off. I was going to say an act of
Mhm.
God, but it wasn't an act of God. It was just an act of a dude who had a dream, who made it happen, who pulled it off. So it was an act of Elon Musk for cars to actually drive themselves, full self driving, which is very real.
Yeah.
I have the car. It does it. It's incredible. And that took so long to actually happen.
Yeah.
And I think that's the same thing, where it's like where robots are actually doing all these things and are thinking. They're gonna be toasters
Yeah.
for a very, very long time.
Ah. All
But
right.
toasters that we can all make money from. Let's
Do my bidding, toaster.
uh-huh. Yeah, precisely.
All right. I think that feels like a little spot for us to end on today. Anything else you'd want to cover for our glorious new listeners or our current listeners? What?
Yep. Well, yeah, we're gonna be on live tomorrow
Yep.
with Steve and the live team. So we're gonna be popping on and just kind of reviewing the markets as they're shaping up, as they're doing their thing, as they're making their cute little movements. Love hanging out with all of you. Thanks for being a part of this. And yes, we know that you all love not only financial news, but political news and the intersection of both of those, and being done in a way where it is from a almost journalistic perspective of inquisitiveness, of curiosity. Dive in, get subscribed, download, listen to Solving America's Problems wherever you enjoy podcasts. Thanks so much for listening, and we will see you all tomorrow.